Intuition equals success. How much do you trust your intuition? I have asked thousands of people at my seminars and training programs if they have had the experience that I'm about to describe. See if you can relate to it. Do you sometimes have an intuition and for some reason you don't act on it? Then later you find out that your intuition was exactly right and you really wish you had acted on it. When I ask how many have had this experience, everyone raises their hand. I'll bet you can relate to this. Being more successful requires that you make lots of good decisions, more good ones than bad ones. What causes good and bad decisions? The way that you make good decisions is by trusting and following your intuition. People who have been super successful all say that a major key to their success is that they honored and followed their intuition. Here's what some of them say. Steve Jobs, founder of Apple Computers, said, "Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary." Oprah Winfrey, famous TV talk show host who became a billionaire, said, "Follow your instincts. That's where true wisdom manifests itself." Albert Einstein, the famous scientist, said, "The only real valuable thing is intuition." The problem is that although these famous people know that following your intuition is essential to being more successful, they don't offer much advice as to how you can more consistently follow your own intuition. I have had the very good fortune to discover exactly how to do that, and I can teach you how to do that. The starting point is to get a reality check by getting your own personal Decision Influences Assessment, DIA. What your DIA gives you is a reality check on the extent to which 4 different kinds of thoughts are influencing your decisions. They are practical thoughts, intuitive thoughts, ego-based thoughts, and emotional pain-based thoughts. The first 2 are useful and typically contribute to successful outcomes, practical thoughts and intuitive thoughts. The second 2 are not useful and typically lead to costly mistakes, ego-based thoughts, emotional pain-based thoughts. Part of the problem is that you have been having all 4 kinds of thoughts your whole life, and you're so used to having all of them that they all feel very familiar to you. You don't question or distinguish which kind of thoughts you're having or how these thoughts are impacting your decisions. You just think that they're all normal thoughts. When you get your DIA, you'll be amazed by what you'll begin to learn about yourself. Here's an example of a DIA. This example is typical for someone just before they learn how to get rid of the energy patterns of their ego and emotional pain-based thoughts. You can see that the practical thoughts are at 88. These thoughts don't usually have any emotional charge to them. They are useful to us. Notice that the intuitive thoughts for this person only have a 16% influence on their decisions. This is because of the huge influence of their ego and emotional pain-based thoughts that are clouding up their inner emotional landscape. This makes it difficult to distinguish their intuitive thoughts from their other thoughts. In this example, this person's decisions are quite strongly influenced by these disruptive emotional energies. The energy patterns at the basis of these ego and emotional pain-based thoughts are literally clouding up your inner emotional landscape, making it very difficult to distinguish intuitive thoughts from all of the ego and emotional pain-based thoughts. It's a real wake-up call to see your own personal DIA. The ego and emotional pain-based thoughts cause you to make far more mistakes and have far more limitations than you realize. That's because these processes are so familiar and so deeply conditioned that it all just feels normal. It feels like that's just how life is. There are two kinds of things that you might find useful from all of this. First, get your own personal DIA so you can see to what extent your ego and emotional pain-based thoughts are clouding your perception and undermining your ability to manifest the life that you want. Secondly, we have discovered a systematic process for identifying ego and emotional pain-based thoughts, and being able to locate where the energy patterns that create them are stored in your body. We have also developed special techniques for getting rid of these not useful energy fields to wipe out the basis of your ego and emotional pain-based thoughts. You will receive information about how you can clean up your inner emotional landscape and stop these barriers from undermining your thinking and decisions. As you do this, your DIA changes. The influences of your ego and emotional pain-based thoughts become less and less. You become much better at distinguishing your intuitive thoughts and being able to follow them. This shows improved intuition of someone using our techniques daily for reducing emotional stress. It doesn't take being at 100% for intuition on your DIA in order to start trusting and following it more. Even with the progress she has made so far, her life is being transformed. On a follow-up call just the other day, she told me that she bought a 10-acre plot of land and is building houses on it. She's following her intuition that gave her a great idea of how to gain financial independence. If you keep doing what you're doing, you will continue to get the results of a cluttered inner emotional landscape. That means you're very likely to just keep getting what you are getting. Willpower and hard work aren't enough. You need something that actually transforms you. You need to learn how to get rid of your inner barriers so that, like truly successful people, you can start to follow your intuition much more consistently. The first step is to get your own personal individualized DIA. Of course, you don't have to get your DIA, but if you're reluctant to invest $7 in yourself, you might want to consider that this is probably an ego-based thought. These are exactly the kinds of thoughts that are undermining you and holding you back. You have plenty of unresolved emotional stress that is making it very hard to distinguish between an intuitive thought and an ego-based thought. That's exactly what's holding you back in your life. I have made the price for getting your DIA ridiculously low to help make it easier for you to overcome such thoughts and start on a new path of liberating your full potential. At $7, it's worth a try before this beta test price goes back to the normal price of $47. Get your DIA now and get the reality check you need as your first step to making you conscious of the extent to which your ego and emotional pain-based thoughts have been controlling and limiting your life. Use the link in the description field below to purchase your DIA. You can also find it at this URL. Because we're getting a huge response to this new way to improve your intuition and transform your life, we sometimes get a bit backlogged, so please allow a few days to get your DIA. We're working on them as fast as we can. Your personal DIA, only $7. Wishing for you to be able to step into a new reality, a new life beyond your wildest dreams.